The Bitcoin halving is in 1 day. It's going to be right now, as of now, the live countdown says that it's going to be 8:21 p.m. April 19th. That is tomorrow. Bitfarms is doing something very, very exciting. I also want to show you 3 other charts that perfectly illustrate why we do technicals on this channel. Let's take a look at it right now, starting with Bitfarms. Okay, Bitfarms, we are getting away. We broke away. Look at that. We got outside of this very tight descending channel. And just like I said, we opened up away from it and we are showing some strength there. We're up 2.52%. I know that candle is red, but we are actually up 2.52% right now. We're at 183. We're holding above this box. We can do this for one more day. This is going to look a lot like a V. We can keep doing this. So if you go like this and we bring this out to about right here, we end up with basically the exact opposite channel in the ascending direction here. We'll see here. Now, I think if we get above this line here, it'll get parabolic, but I don't really think that's in the game plan right now. This could easily turn back around and start doing a similar sort of thing like this. Let me go in here, go clone. So I'm not getting too excited yet, but this could very easily do something like that, right? Like come up here and then come right back down in that just as aggressive of a line. And I'll leave this on my chart for a little while, and then I'll go find my chart for a little while. But that's basically, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Show some strength. This could come up, as high as $2 before it really hits some resistance. Here at $2, $2 is going to be a psychological level where we will be held back at on Bitfarms, and then potentially come down, back down, test this area in the 170 area again before coming back to test $2 and eventually break through that $2 level again. So that's what we're watching for Bitfarms, but this is exactly what I wanted to see. We are breaking away from this aggressive descending channel. That means that the selling is slowing, and we might even start flipping to buying. So we're keeping a very close eye on this right now for Bitfarms. This looks great. And as soon as they find a new CEO, this is really all going to likely be behind us, especially since they have been doing a good job executing on their plan in order to get their exahash up to 20 this cycle. So they put that CEO news behind them. I see this thing potentially breaking out. Until then, this could be controlled buying into further selling. So we're watching that right now. But right now, it broke. So that's exciting. That means we're likely to go higher before we come lower again. And that higher area that I'm looking for is, that like 196 to $2 range. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about on Bitcoin right now. So first of all, recognize this type of very tight selling pattern, this very tight selling right here. Ever since April 13th, we've been in this very tight sell-off right here. These candles are all very close together, all just like bunched up like that. This is when this ends, it'll be a lot like Bitfarms, where it'll break out and move up kind of, kind of quickly. And then we'll see what it does from there. But we did break periodically below $60,000 for a very, very short period of time, but we wicked right back up and we're back into the $62,000 range going into the halving. I think this might be the slump before the pump on Bitcoin here, and we'll just keep an eye out on this chart right here. This does not look too bad though, to be honest. Like I've said before, we can come all the way down to $52,000 here and still be pretty bullish on this chart. This would just end up being a bit of a top, and then it comes down, and then we accumulate back in the low 50s before taking off in a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two or so. For Bitcoin, that's what we're looking at. Now, something else I wanted to show you is the Bookmaps for Bitcoin. So this over here, you can see these red areas is areas of high volume. Over here, the red is big sell zones, green is big buy zones. So they're usually all bunched up on each other. But something I wanted to show you is the level below, right? Some levels below. So let it load for a second, and you'll start seeing over here how much is for sale and where. Come on now. Well, it was showing it to me yesterday. There it is. There we go. Okay. So at 59,000, there are buy orders for 280.98 Bitcoin, almost 281 Bitcoin. $59,000 is a pretty tough level. Let's take a look right at 60. At 60, they have to chew through 146 Bitcoin at that level. Is there any other level like that? 61 was 59. And then like there's a, anywhere between 100 or so Bitcoin right in this area that they have to chew through where they're currently sitting. But if they want to get, if you want to see Bitcoin go beneath $60,000, it has to chew through 146 orders for buying 146 Bitcoin. If you want to see it go below 59,000, they have to chew through nearly 281 Bitcoin of buy orders before they go any lower than that. And there are other areas where it's decently high too, like at just under 58,000, you have 73. At 58.5, you have 76. Down at 58,000, another 281 Bitcoin have to be bought up before they can go any lower than that. So that's why we're seeing these red lines here on the bookmarks. And this is free, by the way, if you wanted to download it and have it on your own computer. $57,000, a little bit of a smaller level, 143 Bitcoin need to be bought up before it can go lower. $56, 226 Bitcoin have to be bought up before it can go lower. At $55,000, this is the hard level right here. $55,000. There are buy orders for over 362 Bitcoin before it can go any lower than that. So, and then 53,000 is at 100. Are there any other like big mega levels that we see here? No. So honestly, even if it got through 55,000, this is going to be catastrophic. Like it's going to come down to like 50 very, very, very fast. If it gets beneath 55,000, there's going to be a pretty significant $5,000 to $7,000 drop off like immediately after going through 55,000 at this level. Because I mean, at 55,100, there's 141 Bitcoin to buy up before it can go down to 5,500. There's also between those two levels, like 5515, 15, another 60 Bitcoin need to be bought up, and then the mega level of 362.53 Bitcoin need to be bought up at $55,000 before it can make another leg down beneath that level. So honestly, right now, this is probably the floor. I don't think that we're going to go below 55,000, even if we get like a wick, pretty wicked wick. I mean, even 58 is going to be a tough one, or 59 and 58 is going to be a tough one. There's only 600 Bitcoin that need to be bought up at both of those levels before it can go beneath $58,000. So I'm not surprised that the wick came down to 59 and then immediately went right back up, because there are just a ton of buy orders at that level. And honestly, if your level's at 59,000 and you see it dip near there, you might just buy some ahead of time and go up. I mean, I'm not condoning that. This is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. But I wouldn't be surprised if some people were to do that, see it get close to their level and just say, I'm just going to buy before it goes up and gets away from me. I can see some people doing that. So that's it for Bitfarms and Bitcoin. Bitfarms is looking great. Bitcoin's doing what it's supposed to do. It's doing a bit of that dip before a rip. We're going to see the halving tomorrow. I do expect it to potentially be a sell the news event. This might be where we see it come to that 58,000, maybe even $57,000 range here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that on my chart actually. 57,000. I'm going to draw that right here. I'm going to make it orange. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go exactly here, but I do think we might get between $60,000 and $57,000 in the days after the halving, because crypto loves a sell the news event. Just loves a sell the news event. It really does. So I would not be surprised if it came down, kind of dipped, into the high 57,000s, and then in a week or two from now, or maybe a month or two, we see it right back up at $70,000 right after. I wouldn't be surprised, because right now we're just building liquidity. All this here, all this down move from April 9th, that's just building liquidity so that it can get momentum, reset the momentum oscillators, and then just rip from there. That's what we're waiting for it to do then. That's what it's planning to do. And basically, we're just sitting and waiting. Okay, so now there are 3 other charts I want to show you that did exactly what I talked about before on those charts, and this is why we do technicals. First, let's start with NVIDIA. Look at this beauty. Came right to my line at $823 this morning. I've been talking about that line since back here in early April. It went up first, tried to fake us out, and then it came right back down, tapped it this morning. That's fantastic. We opened up below 860. We went as low as 820, filled that gap. So I don't know if this will go lower. We'll have to see what happens today. I'm feeling like if the price on this current candle closes beneath 840, I'd be looking for this to come back and test 823 again, and potentially even come down to 800 on NVIDIA. but we are getting very close to having confirmation to the downside in terms of it coming down, testing that 800 level, maybe even coming into like the high 700s. I wouldn't be surprised if we went down to like 770 or even like 760 range over here, started flirting with this tiny little gap. Oh, not tiny. This is actually a big gap. Flirting with this big gap down here underneath that 743 level. I would not be surprised if we wicked down into this area, into the low 70s, and then like closed the candle out in the high 70s on the same day. Would not surprise me at all if that were to happen on NVIDIA, but man, did it just went right to our level. Also, Tesla, it went sub 150 today. Look at this. This is just absolute capitulation on the Tesla stock. I believe we will continue to sell off into earnings, and at earnings, if Elon does not deliver, I think we'll continue to go down a little bit more. We might even get into the 130s or 120s on this bad boy. We might come down to that 122 level on Tesla if Elon does not deliver us something on April 23rd. If he doesn't come out and say, "Oh, we're making Model 2" or something like that, if he doesn't come out and say something like that along those lines, we're likely to go beneath my 144 level and get close to that 122 level. But we went sub 150 this morning for a little while. We went down to 148. So anyone that made any comments on that earlier Tesla video about it being exciting for it to get down to the 140s, we're there. We are there, and we're currently there right now, 149. This is why we do technicals. As soon as this channel broke, we were coming down, and we are still coming down, and we're likely to keep doing so until earnings, because people are expecting this earnings to be bad. And as a result, they're selling off their Tesla. And unless Elon delivers us something positive to look forward to, some kind of great forward guidance, some sort of new product that Tesla's going to drop here eventually, or at least have, they're starting to plan. If they don't give us some sort of hopium, we're not going, we're going to continue to go down on Tesla. So I'm just watching this. I'm looking for that reversal area. Seeing these big gaps down are great if you're a long-term investor, because this is going to represent areas where you can capture Tesla at a fantastic value. Same with NVIDIA here as this swing comes down, but we're down almost 4% on Tesla today, flirting with the 140s right now. It's at 149.29. I would not be surprised if by Monday we touched 144.50, and after Tuesday, if we don't get a great earnings report, if we were down in the high 130s, mid 130s on Tesla. So we're watching that. We're waiting to see structure turn, and then we'll be getting into some Tesla. I mean, if you're playing puts on Tesla, congratulations, you're probably doing fantastically. The other one, the last one I wanted to talk about today was ARM. ARM came down to my level. I was talking about it yesterday, and I said I'd be interested at 105. I want to see how it interacts, if it's going to go through this level or hold it. Right now, it's holding that level. It came all the way down to 102 this morning, all the way down to 102. It tried to come all the way to the bottom of this wick here. Didn't quite make it, which would have been at 102 and 3 cents. It went to 102 and 59 cents this morning, and we are kind of crawling up just a little bit. It's kind of looking a little bit weak. I do think that this will likely do a bit of a slow sell-off into earnings in May as well, since ASML did so badly. Unless, let me see, when is NVIDIA's earnings? They're also chipmaker. They are May 22nd, so that's not good. What about AMD? AMD has earnings Tuesday, April 30th. So on April 30th, if AMD has bad earnings, we might see ARM continue to go down, or if they have good earnings, we might see the semiconductor start to come back up again on that. AMD is looking like, okay, so I didn't plan on analyzing this chart, but AMD looks like it also wants to come to about 147, potentially 140 before testing that support, and then maybe breaking through it down to 123. So if you're in AMD, this is also looking like a head and shoulders right here. You can see shoulder, head, shoulder. We broke the neckline at 162, and we are looking at coming down. Honestly, this support probably won't hold. We're looking at probably coming down to about like 142, 140, and if that can't hold, all the way down to 123 on AMD if you're interested in that quick analysis. But that is the next earnings I'm aware of for them. What about Intel? I know Intel doesn't do ARM chips. Actually, Qualcomm. Qualcomm. Qualcomm, when is their earnings? Their earnings is on Wednesday, April 24th. All right, so I will be watching the earnings for Qualcomm. And if Qualcomm has bad earnings, which this chart indicates that someone thinks that they do, I think ARM is going to come down because Qualcomm does make a lot of ARM chips, a lot of mobile chips that they create. And so that's what I'll be looking for, those earnings on Qualcomm. And if that confirms, of which we got a double top confirmation here just today, actually, here if it holds beneath 163.93 on Qualcomm, if that holds beneath that, we're very likely to come down a little like 154, but that's not very strong. So we're likely to come and test down here like 145 on Qualcomm, actually. So that's it for today. Bitfarms is looking fantastic. In fact, we're going to go right back to Bitfarms because look at this thing. Ooh, look at that candle. This is beautiful. This morning star is playing out fantastically. We're going right to the top of this channel on Bitfarms. Bitfarms, it's breaking out. This is fantastic. I like seeing this. This is just wonderful when technical analysis plays out, and it's playing out on all of my charts so beautifully right now. I'm absolutely in love with this. So with that said, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.